Our next speaker is the Executive Director of B Lab East Africa. A lot of y'all might be familiar with B Lab, Business for Good. She is running and in charge of making this happen in East Africa. No big deal. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to Olivia.
Hello, everyone. It is lovely being here with you all this week at Skoll, and it's my pleasure today to talk to you about my journey involving inclusion and why businesses should be involved in inclusion. So I grew up in Nairobi, Kenya, and when I was 16 years old, we got a chance to go to the Nairobi Stock Exchange. I was in an all-girls high school, and the stock exchange wanted to start bringing women into the market. They only had 2 female brokers working at the time. And standing there and watching the trading floor open and close, I found it exhilarating. I wanted to be part of that energy. And so I set my goal. I wanted to go work at Wall Street. Fast forward 5 years later, and I was on a bus ride from Philadelphia to New York for a job interview at Wall Street. And this was around the time the financial crisis was happening. And I found myself at a crossroad, something that I debated during that bus ride. Research had clearly shown that when executives were making decisions on housing loans and all these complex structures that they'd implemented, they had not considered the negative impact their decisions would have on their clients. They just looked at bottom line. Was this something that I wanted to be a part of? Did I want to work for organizations that only considered bottom line and did not consider other stakeholders and did not give them a voice? Thankfully, the answer was no. And so I decided to go search for such organizations. Goodness of this search is it led me back home. I moved back to Nairobi and started looking for these types of opportunities. I found myself working for the microfinance sector. For those who don't know, MFIs, they provide credit and access to different financial tools to low-income, poor, and very poor people. So those were considered unbankable by the mainstream financial industries. And I worked as a social analyst, going out to different MFIs in West, East, and South Africa, and interacting with their clients and trying to understand, were these MFIs making an impact in their lives? Did they feel included in the financial sector? And the answer was yes. Most of these people felt empowered. They felt proud that they were now contributing to the economy. They felt they had a voice. They felt included. This was powerful to me. And I wondered, were other sectors doing this, or is it just specific for MFIs? And so again, I went searching. And this search led me to my tribe at B Lab. B Lab works with businesses that use the power of business for good. These are companies that are competing not just to be best in the world, but best for the world. Companies that consider all their stakeholders when they're making decisions, not just the bottom line. And this resonated with me. Coming from Kenya, where our employment rate is high, income inequality is high, our environment is going through a horrible impact right now, despite having UNEP headquartered there. Having these types of companies in our region could create that positive change that I was looking for. We work with companies on different initiatives. One of them is B Corp Certification. B Corps meet a high bar in terms of social and environmental performance. Early on, I got to interact with Sub-Saharan Africa. They are a B Corp based out of Nairobi. Sub-Saharan was founded by Steve Kamanja. His childhood dream was to create a company that would employ the unemployable. These were mainly youth who did not have higher education. And how they supported them was to give them employment or an apprenticeship where they would give them technical training and then offer them financing to be able to complete their higher education degree. And once they completed that, they'd offer them soft skills training as well as job placement. These were the types of companies I wanted to work for. Companies that were profit-focused, people-focused, triple bottom line focused. And so today, I encourage those of you who are not part of this tribe to join the tribe of businesses that are using the power of business for good. Thank you.
Such poise.
I learned from the best.
You know, what I find really interesting about B Lab going to East Africa is the translating of something that's been very US focused into something more international. My question for you is, what are some of the gaps or needs that need to be addressed as you're translating something that's largely America focused to something that's more East Africa focused?
That's a great question. So just to kind of shift that, we've actually been doing global expansion for the last 5-6 years. And so we started in South America and then progressed to other countries. So the East Africa hub started about 3 months ago. Biggest hurdle for us is, and this is an opportunity as well, though social entrepreneurship is booming, it's still a very young industry in Kenya, and it's still a very young concept in East Africa. So trying to have these conversations with companies, it makes sense to them, it's something that they're doing, but it still feels a bit Western. Yeah. So how do we translate this into a local context? How do we make them feel part of a community? And one thing that is working to address this challenge is actually showing them examples of how other regions that were still at a young stage with social entrepreneurship came together and worked on building that and creating that narrative for their region. So it's a challenge that it's still really young, but we see it as an opportunity for us to start shaping and articulating what this actually means in East Africa.
Yeah, awesome. And you mentioned that, so B Lab East Africa is relatively new, 3 months, yeah? Just curious from a personal perspective, what is it like to build something from the ground up so new, and what's your vision for things moving forward for everyone?
So even building something from the ground up, I find that exciting, and especially since it's in my hometown, it makes me really, really happy. Anyone at B Lab would tell you this has been my dream for about 6 years. So bringing the B Lab, the B movement to East Africa is a dream come true for me. Having people now talk about the things that matter is important. It's stressful. There are moments you go, sleepless at night, but it's all worth it, because I know with the types of the companies we're talking to, the people we're engaging with, it's so positive and so energetic. It is really inspiring to see Africans trying to find solutions for Africa and Africans who found solutions for Africa.
Such boys, thank you so much. Oh.